What's up, Squanchers? I'm back today with another Rick and Morty video. So, while I was getting ants out of my eyes, I asked myself, is Rick actually afraid of Morty? We all know Rick has always degraded Morty. He usually puts Morty down, tells him he's an idiot and he knows nothing. Rick also goes on to say that he knows everything. I mean, after being told this so many times, I'm sure Morty believes it. Morty just accepts the fact that Rick knows everything and he knows nothing. Morty has even stated this himself. However, what if Morty has the potential to surpass Rick's intelligence? I mean, think about it. Rick could be putting Morty down to make sure he doesn't try and learn, and that he stays ignorant, ensuring that Rick stays the unchallenged smartest being in the universe. I understand that this is kind of just in Rick's character, but what if he's doing this purposefully to protect himself? Perhaps when a Morty passes a certain threshold of intelligence, they turn on Rick. Maybe they decide Rick is dangerous to everyone and must be stopped. However, it is also known that Morty has never been very smart. Even before Rick showed up, Morty was considered to be subpar. I think that Morty has potential, but he doesn't learn from the traditional classroom setting. I'm assuming he learns from doing things more hands-on. In my latest video, I actually talk about how Morty is getting smarter and becoming more like evil Morty. However, I didn't talk about how Morty is showing signs of being fed up with Rick. So, as Morty becomes smarter, they also begin to hate Rick. Let's say when a Morty becomes smarter, they decide they need to betray their Rick. That would make Morty a pretty big problem for Rick, considering how easy it would be for Morty to betray a Rick. Now, why don't we see any smart Mortys besides evil Morty? It could be Ricks don't let Mortys get that far. What I mean by this is they don't let Mortys get that smart or develop past a certain stage. This could also be the answer to a popular question. Why don't we see any adult Mortys? Because they have to be killed before reaching a certain stage. Now, I don't think Ricks intentionally kill Mortys themselves, but I think they take Mortys on extreme adventures, and when it comes down to life or death, most Ricks choose to save themselves. They then simply get a new Morty, making it rare for a Morty to ever reach a certain stage in which their intelligence becomes a problem for Rick. I still think Ricks love their Mortys, however, I assume most of them love having a Morty, kind of like having an object, but it doesn't matter whether or not it's their original Morty. So, if all Ricks love their Mortys, then the Rickest Rick would have the strongest love for his Morty. Meaning C-137 Rick, the Rickest Rick, gets the most attached to Morty. So it's plausible that our Rick got too attached to his first Morty, and he thought that he could teach a Morty that wouldn't be a threat but an ally. However, it turned out to be wrong. That could be why we have evil Morty. I know that got really confusing, but what I'm trying to say is, most Ricks are okay with having different Mortys. But our Rick can't let go. He'd rather die than let Morty die, which allows whatever Morty he has to grow smarter and develop. Evil Morty was probably our Rick's first Morty, and not being able to let go, Rick allowed Evil Morty to reach the stage of a Morty's development where they turn on Rick. Not being able to kill his Morty, he most likely just left to a new dimension and got a new Morty, the Morty he's with now. So, going back to close encounters of the Rick kind, we know that a cocky Morty can lead to some big problems. We actually get proof of this in the latest episode, Rick Rest and Rick Relaxation, when Morty gets his toxins removed and becomes his version of what is healthy, which was a confident and successful Morty. It's clear that he turns out to be trouble, and we get proof that a cocky Morty is bad news. So this doesn't prove Rick is afraid of Morty, but it supports the idea that Ricks are afraid of what Mortys can become. I want to know what you guys think. Is this too far-fetched or is it reasonable? If you like this video, hit the like button, and don't be a Jerry, subscribe.